the first thing you're going to want to do is figure out how many sides there are. There are 9 sides to this one. And I'm going to need to find the central angle in order to cut this into triangles and use them. So I found the central angle is 40 degrees by dividing 360 by 9. I can find the rest of the angles of that triangle because I know that it's an isosceles triangle. That means the base angles have to be congruent. So I can take 180, subtract 40, and then divide that by 2. Now I know the base angles. What I have to find is the area, and that means I need the height of the triangle. So I cut it in half. So now that'll be 70, that'll be 20, and that'll be a right angle. And this is 3.5, half of the original base. That's going to be what I want, so I put an X there. All right, so now I know I'm going to need the tangent because I have the adjacent and I'm looking for the opposite. So I need the tangent of 70 degrees is equal to X over 3.5. So now all you got to do is pull out your handy-dandy trig table, look in the tangent column, find it. What is it? It's 2.7. All right, so there's some arithmetic to do now. I'm going to have to multiply 2.7 times 3.5. And what I wind up with is 9.45. So that's my height. The area of the triangle is 1/2 times the base, which will be double the 3.5, times the height, which is 9.45. And I have 9 of those triangles, so if I multiply that by 9, I'll get the area of the nonagon. I'll use the 2 to multiply times the 3.5. Let's just do 63 over 2 times 9.45. But the answer to this is going to be 595.35 divided by 2. Don't want to forget that. I got divided by 2 now. So there, I got my answer, 297.675 miles squared. The next one is an octagon. And it presented an interesting problem of its own. First of all, they give you the perimeter instead of giving you the side length, but that's not so hard to find out. You divide 48 by 8, you get 6. Here's where the interesting thing came in. Okay? I went through all the same steps that you always do. Drew a triangle from the central angle, calculated the central angle, and found that it was 45 degrees. I've got to find the base angles. That's 45. And I'm going to do the 180 minus 45. And as it turns out, it's 67.5 degrees. And then when I cut it in half, I had 22.5 degrees on the top. And that caused a problem when I went to set it all up. I did this one the same way that I did the other one. There we are, tangent of 67.5 degrees, and I went to look that up, and I figured, well, okay, it'll be the same, 67 and 68. They're usually the same, so this will be 2.4. Uh-oh, the other's 2.5. 2.4 here, 2.5 here. Which one should I use? No, I'm going to avoid this problem. I decided to avoid it completely. I decided I'm going to use 22.5 because they're both 0.4. Does it matter? Well, not really in the grand scheme of things, but it made my life easier. I didn't have to choose. I decided I would do the tangent of 22.5. That would equal 3 over x. And that turned out to be 0.4, which was equal to 3 over x. 2/5 equals 3 over x. So x turned out to be 15 over 2. So that was the height of my triangle. Same thing I did before. I've got 1/2 the base, which is going to be 2 times 3, times the height, and multiply that by 8 because I've got 8 of these triangles. Now I've got a bunch of things that can cancel out here. I can cancel those 2's, I can cancel this 2 and the 8 and get a 4 over here. Now I can multiply 4 times 15 and get 60. So I have 3 times 60. And 3 times 60 is 180. And so that's my answer. 180 miles squared.